Hello there. Welcome back to Alpine's Speedrun. Currently, we're looking pretty good here. 8th and 10th. We are currently 5th in the championship. With that, we have kind of made our bosses very, very happy. They want us to finish 6th and above. And as long as we can keep that going, we should be perfectly fine. Still making some designs here, but for the most part, these should be the final additions. I believe we need to do one change to one of them. Probably the side button suspension potentially. We'll take a look at that. But we are getting closer to the end here of our design cycle, and we'll be focusing on research after this. Our performance and happiness is just something our boys will have to deal with, because we're not going to be changing that. If you enjoyed the series so far, please like, subscribe. Need to get that in there for the algorithm. But with that said, I have also made one change since last time we played, and that is that I've installed the another mod. Basically, it's going to make the game look prettier. I don't remember what it's called top of my head. Maximal graphic preset. So we'll see how that works during races, if they look better, and if my computer combusts, we'll have to just uninstall it. But anything that makes it look even prettier than it is would be nice. But yes, we're currently running 5th, and we're getting ready here for Imola. Helipad has reached its max level, but honestly what I'm more interested in is the two designs that are going to be finishing here. And we're definitely going to be making the rear wings before we go into the next race weekend. That is a no-brainer. But as I said, I think we will start doing a little bit of research. Remember, we get a 5% to everything, so we don't really need to do a lot of research, but it would still be nice to do some. And generally, I'm going to be focusing my CFD and wind tunnel time on the front wings and rear wings, as one, they cost more to research, and as such, it's better to it's a better financial decision, I feel, to invest more CFD time into the rear and front wings, and have a research project running for the other parts of the year, basically. But yeah, we're going to invest into the rear wing first here, and we're going to focus DRS as well. Generally, I don't focus much DRS, and there's two reasons why I would recommend you don't really need to focus DRS delta. It does two things. It makes it easy to overtake when you're in a DRS zone, because you can accelerate quicker. That's basically what DRS effectiveness does. And the other thing is that it's going to give you a better quality performance, because when you qualify, you run with an open DRS in the DRS zones. So the DRS is open as much as possible during a quali lap. So with that in mind, having a high DRS effectiveness is going to affect your quali laps, but having too high of a DRS effectiveness can negatively affect you in the sense that you'll quali way higher than your car is supposed to be, and as a result, you get overtaken early in the races, you lose a lot of confidence. So DRS can be a double-edged sword in the CS game, so keep that in mind. In this case, we're going to invest some into it. 5 would still be acceptable to me, honestly, but we'll maximize that slider as well and be okay with it. And again, whenever you do a research project, try and just use one engineer. It's more financially viable, if that makes sense, which I think it does, because basically expertise is gained daily, and by speeding up your research projects, you're not really getting more expertise. So yeah, there's no point really in putting extra engineers on unless you need to kind of get it done by the end of the year. So in December, to get an extra research project in there, well worth it. But before that, try and stick to just using one engineer for your research projects. Okay, let's see what this one is. This is the update to the top speed, which means that this is the final edition suspension. We are going to go ahead and manufacture that one. The question is just, am I going to bring it for Imola? Imola is a top speed kind of heavy track, so I think we'll rush one. It's a little bit of a waste of money to do this, but it's a waste of money that I'm happy with doing, so that is fine. And with that suspension now done, we're going to start doing more research. We're basically just adding an extra research line at this point, and what we're going to be focusing on is going to be our chassis performance. Now, if you want to play in a sense that you slow down your development, we're not really going to do this here. We're going to focus a little bit more min-maxing. If you want to play in a sense that slows down your development, the way that the AI does development in 1.5 is that they keep all the sliders in the middle, and for every 2 design projects, they'll do 1 research. So if you mimic that, you'd be able to slow down your progress somewhat if you feel like you are progressing too quickly, if you are following this video. So do keep that in mind. It is an option for you if you want to slow things down a little bit. Okay, let's see what we can do here with the next sponsor plan. We made a nice chunk of money, I would think. Apparently none, but we did get a little bit of money there. And our new sponsor plan here, let's take a look. Factory tour. School events is fine. I generally don't recommend doing anything that gives pit crew fatigue, anything that lowers your driver's performance rating, and anything that hits your driver's mentality. Neither of those are good things. Generally, I am looking for things that hit the staff. I would also not recommend doing design center adverts if your design center is level 1, because you'll lose your engineers. Well, you're not permanently lose them, but you'll be pushed down to 6 of them, if that makes sense. I think wind tunnel CFD buildings are also good. And again, anytime you have anything that gives, again, pit crew fatigue, don't like that. Anything that removes your engineer team side, don't like that. They could permanently vanish. So be careful with your engagement. They're a little bit buggy still. Okay, I think we are ready now to just go directly into Italy here in 3 days. Facility upgrade completed, the tour center. We are going to go ahead and upgrade that to the maximum level. It's basically just free money. To be fair though, the final level here, 50,000, 3,000 increased income. It's going to pay for itself in a year, to be fair. And honestly, the buff is fine as well. But the main thing, actually, the main reason why you want to upgrade these to level 5 is straight up the fact that they count as facilities. And it's going to help with your drivers, you know, facilities buff here. So as you can see, they're happy with us now because we upgraded the... And again, this is kind of a weird thing. We upgraded the operation facilities, 3 buildings that don't really matter much, honestly. And that's enough to make them happy. Like, they were unhappy with our facilities at the start of the season. And upgrading unrelated buildings to the drivers and their performance is buffing them. So... yeah, it's weird. But take those 3 buildings. They're very cheap. You give your drivers a bit of a permanent mentality buff there. Okay, we should have that new suspension. And because the fact that Gasly has been the better not crasher, we're going to go ahead and give it to him. We're also going to go ahead and put 2 rear wings on. And I just want to double check here that we have all the components of both cars, because I am a klutz. Sometimes I forget. So it's looks good here. And of course, we're also going to get started here now with manufacturing enough suspension that we have a little bit of a supply going forwards. Any other parts that we need to manufacture? Probably a couple more underfloors would be nice. So we'll get that sorted. And the rear wing project here will be done after the race weekend for the most part. And we can then start on these 2 new designs. I still think we need to run one more side pod unless I am misremembering. But that should be fine. So yeah, let's go to Imola here. Race targets is still just 16 or above, which should be fairly straightforward and simple. So let's see if that maximum graphic preset mod has made the game look better. We've already improved leaps and bounds here, as we are now 8th and 9th championship here, rather after quali. So let us see if this pays off long term. Okay, we are ready to figure out a strategy. Now, generally, undercutting does seem to be really, really powerful this year. And I am tempted to try and do something similar to an undercut. But maybe in a bit of a silly way. We also do have a lot of fresh soft tires, so it's no problem using even 2 or 3 of these. But is it going to be faster? Most likely not. Basically, burning the medium here is not going to benefit us in any tangible way. One stop is usually the best around it. The question is just what kind of one stop we want to try for. Because even if we try and do something cheeky, it's not going to be a lot quicker if it's quicker at all. That is the main concern with trying to do something cheeky around here. Don't mean to do that with the poor old soft tire. Now, if we do this, for instance, we can see that it is still about as quick as doing a one-stopper. And generally, when you have a strategy with a tire where it's just the same, and you would most likely be better off just running the one-stopper as is, or even just make some small changes like running the medium on light, you are probably better off just sticking to the premier strategy. And Imola is probably the best example of this. There isn't really much you can do to get more pace out of the car, to get, extra benefit from doing more than, say, one stop. You'd have to probably save couple more tires, and let's say it like this, go for something insane like the tree stopper, which honestly could be fun. Let's be honest, it's not terrible, but it's also 10 seconds slower than what we're currently doing. So yeah, you're probably better off just running a light medium into a regular hard. Might even want to run the hard a little bit lighter so you have an advantage towards the end. If you're in a DRS train, feel free to turn down the tire usage as long as you can stay with them. Basically, I think that is going to be what we try for here. Let us see if the graphical preset is going to murder my PC or not here. And also, if we can spot the differences, I guess. It's definitely very hot out here. We started at 8/9. We're still going to take care of our tires. We have underfuel like we usually do. It is basically a norm at this point. And while we are going to suffer a little bit from rally defending and going low, I think it is going to be worth it in basically long term here. The goal for this race is to finish 9th and 10th if we can. We basically just want to have points, and 9th and 10th is enough. And over a season, we should be able to finish 5th, which honestly is a position higher than what the board wants, so that should be good. Now, as I mentioned, this race is going to be pretty straightforward and probably a little bit boring, as the main thing that we are going to be doing here is generally just maintaining our position as best as we can. If we can stay within a DRS train, great. If we can't, it's going to suck. So in our case here, Ocon is actually doing amazing. And remember, Ocon doesn't have the new suspension, so Gasly actually has a pretty hefty top speed advantage over Ocon, as we now see a yellow flag. What has Magnussen done?
Here we're taking turn 6. Oh no! Wide they go, and they might want to take a look at the floor of the car.
Got a tad wide, nothing much we can do about that, honestly. Just have to live with it. But yeah, for now, we are going to sit back. We're going to allow the race to kind of start running its course. And we'll see how we basically look by the time we get to our first few pit stops. As we're getting closer now to our first pit stop, or close and close, still 10 laps remaining. As we're getting a little bit closer now, we are kind of in an interesting position here where both cars have ended up with basically a fight with the Mercedes. Ocon versus Hamilton, Gasly versus Russell. And we also have some cars that have pitted very, very early, including Hülkenberg, Tsunoda, and Albon, and just Sargent and Magnussen. So some cars here do definitely believe that a two-stopper is viable and is going to be, more importantly, fast. So this is going to be fairly interesting for us to see, but currently the pace difference is high enough here that it's not a concern for us. Let's put it this way. There is 40 seconds down to Hülkenberg. He is the fastest of the ones that have pit. So at this point, we are basically fighting the Mercedes and the Astons only. Those are going to be our main goal here. Piastri is somewhat within range. He's just 4 seconds up the road. And honestly, we aren't that far off, the front runners here. But let's face it, McLaren, Red Bull, and Ferrari are not our goal in this first year. Our goal is to beat Mercedes if possible. And same for Aston. Aston and Mercedes are our rivals this first year, and we're going to be focusing on how to deal with them more so than anything else. And again, the goal here is that we are going to try and make use of our tires to get a little bit of an advantage over them. So hopefully that plays out in the way that we want, as Ocon is getting set up here, or rather lining up Hamilton going into the DRS zone. But yeah, I think we're looking good. I would assume Hamilton and Russell are going to pit soon, and we'll have to see how I stack up against them after our pit stops. But again, the plan is just to have a tire advantage till the end. Piastri is kind of running that same strategy. Actually, most of the top teams are. Verstappen isn't. So let's see if we can actually maybe snatch some extra points here due to our strategic choices. And just so Floof can have a little bit more happiness in his life, we have Ocon in the lead. Gasly running third, but everyone has pitted, and let's face it here now, Hamilton is 20 seconds behind us, Russell 30. Honestly, I think we have actually benefited from staying out longer, because while our lap times are slow, they aren't prohibitively slow to a point where we're actually in danger, and we're going to hold a little bit of that tire advantage now till the end of the race, provided we have no incidents. Of course, the pit lane here is a little bit longer than most places, 28 seconds, so we have lost out to Hamilton. quite a bit by staying out longer. But those 8 seconds we should be able to get back. And honestly, I still think we can be happy with staying out as long as we have. And again, if we can manage the odds in a good manner here, as you can see, by the time we get to the end of this, Hamilton should go below 30%. It's looking extremely promising for us here. Alonso picking up a major mechanical fault too is also kind of huge, because that is going to be slowing him down, basically putting him out of any fight for points. That almost sounded like a gearbox error there for Gasly. A 3-second stop time for Ocon. That's not great, but he did not hold up Gasly, so we'll take that. Hamilton is going to fly by us, same with Piastri. Question is, where is Russell going to be in relation to us? Is he going to be putting up a threat here as we exit the pits? Gasly's not going to beat him, and as it turns out, Ocon did. At least one of our cars did have a good pit stop here. And of course, we are going to need to chase down Hamilton by the end of this. But as long as we manage our tires in a good way, I still think we have a great chance there of maybe even getting 7th and 8th. As we're nearing the end of the race here with 11 laps remaining, we can see that we have actually gotten a pretty huge tire advantage at this point. 67% versus 48 for Russell, 54 for Hamilton. We've also had Perez develop a minor fault. Probably not enough that we're going to be able to catch him. He is 27 seconds up the road. But as it stands, the Mercedes boys are definitely ours to catch here, as Ocon makes the overtake on Russell. Gas is a little bit further down the road, which honestly is fine. As you can see, he's running 17.5s on his own. Don't know if he actually overtook a back marker there. He did, so that probably helped. But generally, we've been 2-3 tenths faster than the Mercedes boys for this entire stint. And for Ocon here, honestly, I think what we want to do is, if he's ahead at the end of the DRS zone now, we're going to try and pull away from Russell. And the reasoning for that is very, very simple. We don't want to drag Russell along. We want to leave him as kind of fodder, if you will, for Gasly if we can. So we're going to allow Ocon now to use all of his energy in his ERS to try and create that gap. And we can also push our fuel a little bit to kind of help that. And if Russell wants to keep up now, he's going to have to use his own energy. He's going to have to use his own fuel. Probably going to elect to use some tire. And that is going to lose him ground to Gasly pretty rapidly. And also, the added benefit of doing this is that we're going to catch up to Hamilton pretty quick. And then we can kind of just scoot in behind him till the end of the race. So we don't really have any rush to overtake him. We are not going to catch Piastri. I don't see that happening. We're running 18.2, as you can see. Similar to Piastri, is 10 seconds up the road. So for realism's sake, we don't have any chance of catching this McLaren. Now Gasly, however, could potentially get Russell and then get Hamilton. And at this point, we can potentially tune up the car a little bit. But as long as we hold an advantage, we should be fine. Probably with 5 laps remaining, we should be fine to start push. 4 laps maybe. Because we also have to keep in mind, we need to get to the end of this race in one piece. And if we don't, then there's no point in building up this tire advantage to begin with. So let's see here what we can do. We're going to allow our drivers to save up a little bit more fuel, a little bit more kind of everything. And then we're going to launch an attack in probably 5 laps time. For Gasly now, the time has come where he's going to try and get past Russell with the help of both DRS and energy. And we do pull that off. Hamilton is pushing a little bit more now. He's up into 18 blanks now for lap time, which is not a good thing for us because that means he's going to be harder to catch. And again, we just have Gasly push here for the simple reason that I want him to create a little bit more of a gap to the car behind. Now, in terms of our current tire usage, if you will, we're losing about 1.5% a lap. And I would estimate that we might lose about 5% a lap when we start pushing. And again, we want to make sure that we stay above 30% by the end of this. So the goal here is going to be to still just sit back, relax for a little bit more time. And then we're going to fully push once we get to the end of this lap. Again, we're 40 seconds behind the leaders. So while they're about, well, Leclerc actually has started lap 59, we're still a little bit further behind that. So again, estimates here. Maybe we'll lose about 5% a lap pushing. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. It might be more than that, so we'll have to see exactly how much. But with the tire advantage that we have, particularly over Hamilton here, we almost have 20%, and he definitely is pushing now himself. We kind of don't have a choice. We're going to have to push now, and if Hamilton keeps pushing, he's going to run out of tire way before we do. And you can actually check here now. Let's see Hamilton. How much tire is he actually using? Let's take a quick look at his car's performance. So he's losing between 3 to 2% a lap. 5 laps remaining. If he keeps this up, he's definitely hitting below 30%, and also his engine is about to go bang bang at 30%. So this is good for Ocon. Gained 1.6 seconds that last lap, gained 1.5 for Gasly, and we're kind of going to do the same here as we did. And so far, the tire wear doesn't seem too bad. Maybe I've been a little bit too careful here with how I've dealt with it. But considering again, the choice that I made here with tire wear is also consistent with the fact that we want to beat the Mercedes. I am not going to be ambitious enough to beat the Red Bulls, McLarens, Ferraris, unless they have a major incident on their hands. Okay, let's see now with DRS, if Ocon can get by, that's going to be number 1, and create a huge gap, that's going to be number 2. It seems like that's going to be fairly easy as we're already building one out of the DRS zone. And Hamilton's already basically lost it here. So with that, Ocon now should have a pretty calm run into the finish. We're just still going to have him push because we want him to stay ahead of Hamilton. And for Gasly here, he's going to have that very same job that Ocon just did with getting Hamilton before the end. And honestly, if we just deploy here now, as we get closer to the DRS zone, that should be no big issue. We might have overtaken him a little bit too soon there and actually given Hamilton DRS. Nope, we actually have it. So we actually overtook him in the perfect place. And with that, we've already gained 1.5 seconds there just by flying down the main straight with a little helping of DRS. We will take that. We are also quicker than Piastri here by a couple of seconds, but let's face it, I don't think we would have caught him before the end. We could have started pushing earlier. There's no question about that. But again, there was no real point to doing that because I don't think we would have caught him. But honestly, getting a 7th and 8th place here is very, very good. It's going to help with our mentality. It's going to give us some very, very good points. And Piastri now is also pushing. He's 17-1. He's actually faster than we are. Yeah, Perez here, if he picked up that error a little bit sooner, he might have been in trouble. Leclerc picks up a win, Verstappen comes second. None of the major failures here led to a DNF, so no safety cars, anything like that for us to worry about. And as I said, 7th and 8th is actually really, really respectable for us, so we'll definitely be happy with it. Now, in terms of the points that we've scored, that's an additional 10, which puts us a little bit closer to Mercedes. If we do this again, we're going to be up into 4th, and considering just how dominant the top 3 teams are, this kind of also just demonstrates my point a little bit more clearly here that unless a driver for one of these 3 teams have a major problem, a major accident, we're not going to be making a strategy with the goal of beating them this year. It just is not going to happen. We're going to be making strategies for beating Mercedes, and we're going to be making strategies for beating Aston Martin because we're actually going to realistically be able to beat these guys a lot of the time and maybe even snatch 4th place. So that is going to be our season goal. Just to reiterate, so we're all on the same page, goal for this season is 4th. Maximum. Okay, front wing design is done, and with that we basically have another research slot opened up. I do want to take a look, however, and check. Well, you should be getting, might actually not be getting that, sorry. You might not actually get a new spec, if you will, front side before we go into the next race. Honestly, I kind of mistimed this. We can get one front wing before we go into Monaco, but the front wing is just so important there that it is a good chance for us to score some very, very good points again. So we're going to actually sacrifice that rear wing project we're running just so that I can rush 2 front wings to Monaco. Because again, it's kind of worth it. We're getting a huge boost from actually making a front wing. We're not going to be able to make anything else. And I want to just check here while I'm kind of running around. Is this good side pod? It is good side pod. Is it going to be the final edition side pod? Most likely, I think. Let's see here. We could make this side pod. This is probably going to be final edition side pod. Again, engine cooling is a bit of a concern, but this would be good enough to boost us up a little bit more from, you know, our lack of top speed. I could make one more side pod design where we just do a regular design to boost stats. And honestly, that's not a terrible idea. And the reason why I'm saying this is pretty straightforward. The reason why it wouldn't be a terrible idea is straight up because we're only losing 5% of our research next year. So we can easily get it back. We're already very low on like the scale, if you will, for expertise. So we get a lot of expertise back a lot quicker. We're not going to be losing a lot of it. So I'm perfectly fine with doing a couple more sideboard projects. We have the finances to support it right now. So let's make sure that we don't lose any of our engine cooling. It's going to be quite important because, again, Ocon's already wrecked an engine. I don't want to spend 5 million this year buying him another one. So we do need to get that engine cooling down. Underfueling is going to help. But we need to make sure that Ocon doesn't take any more of these with him to the grave. And the best way to do that is to keep our engine cooling where it is, or even better, improve on it. So we'll have to see what we do with that sideboard, but it's definitely going to need a couple more iterations. Yeah, with that, we have now all of our research projects. We have manufacturing going on. We're going to get 2 new front wings, which is going to basically be the final edition front wings for this season. By the time we go to Monaco, I think it's looking good. I think it is looking good. So let's go ahead and install these on both cars. And I'm also going to make just 4 more. That way we have plenty in stock. I might end up wasting money like I did with the rear wing, to be fair. But I think we're in a position right now where it is okay for us to put in a little bit more effort. Unfortunately, I didn't check where we would finish. Currently, we're expected to finish outside of the points in terms of our car's performance. So let's see if we can do a little bit of a surprise attack here in quali. Because last quali we ended up 8th and 9th. Let's see if we can do the same here in Monaco. No surprises for the Monaco quali. We end up 7th and 8th, which we'll take. We were close to Piastri, but couldn't get it done. If anything, we could maybe hope for a little bit of a better result here, but it's going to require a little bit more strategic placement, let's just put it like that. So we're going to maximum underfuel here. There's no way, no reason not to do it. It's Monaco. Someone is going to put it in a wall somewhere. I think that's fairly likely. And interestingly enough, they should suggest that we do basically the same thing we did last time as our suggested strategy here. But honestly, I would recommend doing a 2-stopper in Monaco. You can just save such a huge amount of time by doing it. And let's say this, if you have 2 sets of fresh softs and you do a 2-stopper, that's already 20 seconds or so quicker than most of these strategies. Half a minute quicker than the soft to hard 1-stopper. And again, the goal here in Monaco is basically burn down the medium immediately, as much as you can, get on the soft, try and undercut the cars in front with a better tire. And again, if we are curious just how good the tires are around here, compound performance, the soft tire has almost 3/10 advantage. It has 200s difference, so the soft actually only holds advantage over the mediums for about 15 laps. But that should still be plenty. And interestingly enough, the mediums here is the same, just 15 laps for the hards. So the tires are fairly equal in that regard. And honestly, we might try to be a little bit cheeky. Let's say that we start on the hard tire and then we go onto a medium. Try and do something like this, where we say run the medium standard. But honestly, between running light and running standard, there's just 1 second of a difference, which isn't huge. And as you can see, this is still going to be faster. It's just because it's simply just because of the fact that we're taking better care of the softs. And that basically, again, lowers our degradation. It lowers our time loss, so to speak. So it's a weird kind of synergy there, but we're basically taking better care of the soft tires. Honestly, it's not a weird synergy. It's just how tire management works in this game. You want to take better care of your softer compound in most strategies. What this means is that if you have a strategy that has medium and soft tires, you're going to want to go as usually more aggressive on the medium tire than on soft. And if you have a strategy like this one that employs all 3 strategies, you'll generally see better results by going more aggressive on the hard, then the medium, and then the soft. And that's generally just how it works. You want to take the best care of your softest compound and, be more aggressive on your hardest one because it loses less performance doing that, I guess is the best way to put it. But yeah, we're going to put Gasly on the same strategy, but I'm going to be really, really lazy here and just have him go full attack, and then we'll put in the, the medium stint there once we feel like it. We are going to have to run conserve from the get-go because we have underfueled maximum. And running conserve from the get-go here is just a safety precaution to ensure that we don't run out of fuel if there's no safety car, VSC, or anything like that. But yeah, let's see what we can do in Monaco. We should have a fairly well-suited car for this race, I dare say.
Well then,
So hopefully we can turn something out
for one of the
around.
most exciting races in the world. This is the Monaco Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Lights out, away we go. Oh, is Ocon going to get a good start there? Terrible start from Gasly, but Ocon makes up for it by launching it on the McLaren. He is going to get... he's going to be losing the place again, though, and apparently we have put Ocon on a bad strategy, as it turns out. So he's still going to do probably the same thing that Gasly does, but this is a strategic error from my side, and there's no way around it. If he was on a medium tie, he might have been able to stay ahead of the McLaren. But it is what it is. We're just going to have to manage the situation. But yeah, if you mess around with strategy, double check that you're on the correct one before you start the race. But in this case, we're actually just going to, again, just happily sit here. We're going to be burning down both of these tire sets. And we're going to try and pit around lap 20 onto a soft tire. And hopefully we can maybe catch the McLaren. But it should be quick enough that we don't stand a chance here. We've had a safety car here, and honestly, I think we are going to take advantage. And there's two reasons for this. First and all, we have a gap to Russell. If we take a look here, we have a pretty significant gap down to Russell. And in this scenario, everyone is going to be pitting anyways. There's just too much damage to the tires. Paris has done something, I don't know what exactly, but looks like he's hit the wall. Half his front wing is missing. So what we're going to do here is actually go onto the line stop stint. We're going to get started with that a little bit earlier. We could do something with the medium here. Honestly, we're probably going to have to use a medium at some point. So going onto the medium wouldn't be the worst idea I've ever had. And what I basically mean by this is if we go into strategy view, what I'm thinking we do because of what has happened is that we're going to go onto the medium and we're going to burn that. We're still going to do 2 stops afterwards. But what I definitely can see happen here is that the AI is going to go in a hard tie and try and, bridge that until lap 55, lap 60. And if we go into a soft tie here, we could end up... This is probably going to be our best bet, is what I'm saying. Like, this is basically turns out Ocon's strategy was the one we needed for this race. And I think that going onto the medium is going to benefit us. And for Gasly, he's kind of in a bit of a rougher place there, but he actually has... Potentially, we might do something a little bit different then. Because, well, what I am thinking here is that maybe we can do this. We have 3 soft tires available, which gives us a lot of freedom in strategy. And potentially we can use that to our advantage in the sense that we do something like this instead. And, well, we can already see that we're saving a lot of time doing it. But if I were to compare it to Ocon, who's basically going to be our guinea pig for this, what can we do here with these 3 soft tires that would make more sense? It would also, the best part about this is actually better for us for 2 reasons. We save a medium tire for, say, if there's an incident in lap 50, or 40 rather. And not only that, we have so much soft tire available to us compared to this strategy that we can definitely get that minute back by just pushing 5 laps before we need to pit. So yeah, I think this is best. We take care of the soft tire. It kind of leaves us... It's going to be more safe to do that. And what I mean by this is, the risk that we run, if we run the medium, burn it down, and then pit, is that, to be fair, it wouldn't be a bad idea. There's 5 cars ahead of us with one of them. There's 4 cars ahead of us with hard tires, which means that they've used theirs. We're going to be seeing the AI on mediums for sure. It's a rough choice, this. It's a rough choice because we're going to have to make a few potentially bad decisions. But what I think is here that we do go for the soft tire, the 3-stopper. That way we have so much freedom if we do that. That's generally why I want to do this, because it gives us freedom. And that freedom is going to allow us to do basically the same as if we run the medium anyway, so it should be fine. That is one of the weirdest crashes I think I've seen. So he locked up, went straight on, and then he rejoined unsafely by hitting the wall on the rejoin. That's rough. Yeah, that is Paris out. The hard runners aren't actually pitting. That's quite surprising, I'll be honest. That could mean that we are going to be in trouble here. We should still come out ahead of Tsunoda. Ocon with a very slow stop, 9 seconds. And Gasly has the very same thing happen to him. Oh, that is so frustrating. We spent... Sorry, that's the best way. That's the best noise I can make to describe the situation there. Because we should have come out ahead of Tsunoda. Like, it's not even a joke. Ocon should come out ahead of Tsunoda. Gasly should come out behind. But... honestly, it's so rare that I go and look for this. 7 seconds and 9 second stops. Ocon should be the two most important pit stops, and we bottle them as hard as we could. And again, this is why I prefer getting just the error chance down rather than the time, because it always hits you at the worst time. For me, at least, I feel. And now Gasly is going to have a tremendously hard time, because he's going to need to clear 3 hard runners, including Hamilton and fresh ones. And we're also going to have to try and clear Alonso and catch up to Russell. So undercutting the cars in front here is going to be rough. And honestly, I didn't expect the hard runners to stay out. That's also a little bit surprising, but I guess it makes sense. Hards still have a lot of life left in them. And we're still going to need to navigate and try and get past them, which honestly is going to be the challenge here, particularly for Ocon. He's going to be the one that has to do it. And now we also have a Russell ahead of us. If we were behind Piastri right now, this would actually be kind of a dream scenario. Because we should, with a fresh soft, be able to navigate our way through these cars in front. And as we do that, we could potentially create a gap out front. Have one car play, always defend.
Safety car will be coming in this lap.
And that way we might have been able to snatch a podium or even a win that we weren't supposed to get. But now our pit crew has absolutely screwed us over. In the worst way possible. So for Ocon here, we are going to need to play things a little bit more aggressively. I still think running conserve on the tires is fine. But we could push fuel a little bit more here for a few laps. But you regain about 0.3 kilograms a lap. So we basically just need to do 22 laps here of conserve. We should be fine. Yeah, that is an abysmal pit stop. Luckily, we don't lose confidence from the pit crew messing up. I guess that is the only positive we can take from this. And for Gasly, honestly, we're going to do the same. They're both going to be pushing. They're both going to be going here for the overtakes when they can. And in this case, we are actually kind of flying, so it shouldn't be too terrible to try and make this happen. Russell is going to be an issue, though, because, again, same tires. Gasly got his overtake done as well, so he should be able to now sail up to Hamilton. And then we just repeat the process, basically, as best as we can. We are going to have to kind of fall back and recharge at one point, which is not going to be great. But honestly, at this point, there isn't really much we can do. We're going to have to try and make our way forwards. And again, Russell is going to be the big issue. Same tires. And he isn't even getting close enough to overtake on Tsunoda. And we're already losing a lot of time. We're down 8 seconds at this point. Gasly should have a bit of an easier time getting the overtake done. And I think we just used the last remnants of energy here to try and make this happen. Yeah, last lap Tsunoda. 2 seconds slower than the leaders. That is bad. Yeah, we're not getting an overtake done here. We're going to have to run some top up conserve. sit behind Russell, try and make something happen. And I should deploy here for gas a little bit sooner. So I'm going to be trying to micromanage him a little bit here. See what we can do. But yeah, we would be running with Science at the moment. Science DRS train for sure. If it wasn't for this problem. I can guarantee it virtually. Now, Gasly is going to need to clear Rick, and then he's going to need to hunt down Hamilton, then Alonso. But this is basically going to put us into the same pit window as the current hard runners. Which is not a good thing, I'll honestly say. At least we are recharging in a sensible manner here. Okay, we are staying with them, but that's generally just because Tsunoda's slow. He's again running 1.4 seconds slower than Verstappen, half a second slower than Sainz. And again, every lap that we stay behind them here, we are losing out massively. So on this lap, we're going to be pushing. We're going to go aggressive on these soft tires. We're going to use a little bit more than we kind of want to, if you will. And for Gasly, he's going to be overtaking on this lap, hopefully, if we can. Yeah, at this point, it is just clear these guys quick enough. Russell has luckily cleared Tsunoda. We might do it here into the corner. That was actually beautiful. Gasly does the same. I want to see how we pull that off. Okay, it's not that one that I want to see. It's the Gasly one. This is a cool angle, though. That's beautiful. Yeah, Gasly also cleared his car, which is, again, key. We're still going to keep on pushing here, I think, but we're going to tune down again. Going to recharge, get up to Russell, and then try and get the overtake done. Russell shouldn't be too slow compared to the cars around us. That should be a little bit of a better place to park, if you will. Now, the question is, can we close this 4-second gap without losing too much time? And can we, with Gasly here, kind of do the same that we did with Ocon, to clear these two cars in front, particularly Hamilton. But Tsunoda, again, is the slow one out of the two. So I would love to clear Tsunoda more so than I would love to clear Hamilton. Looks like we might get a... I was about to say a 2-for-1 sale, but even that is going to be dubious. Come on, Gasly. Nice. That's what I love to see. That's an insane overtake right there. Okay. We're now looking a lot more promising than we were just a second ago. We're back into 7th and 8th. Paris is out, so we're looking for 6th and 7th as our minimum finishing position this race. We are currently taking care of our tires. We are catching up to Norris. Can we catch up to Sainz? That's going to be the big one here. And again, we have a lot of extra tire for this strategy, so it's not a bad situation to be in currently. I think for now we're going to allow things to kind of progress as they are. I would love to overtake Russell, but at the same time, we're not forced to do it quickly at the moment. We can allow Ocon to get closer by just running these settings over a lap or two, and then we can launch our attack. So I think this is the lap when we're going to get set up to do a little bit of overtaking on Russell. And I think I might use a little bit of extra tire here to kind of get away from him after we get it done. Would love for Gasly to get by him. Piastri has also developed a minor fault here. That could be huge for us, because that means that Piastri could develop a major fault, which would again slow him down massively. Opportunities are showing up here after one door slammed in our faces. But we need to clear Russell here, because if we don't, Norris is actually going to be the problem here. Norris could give Russell DRS, and that would be horrible. In this case, though, I'm fine with just allowing things to progress as they are, because we're looking to get Russell now. Sorry, not Russell. We're looking to get Norris without giving Russell DRS. And we actually just send it into... Okay, that's insane. That is a good job, though. That's what I like to see. Let him keep using a little bit more tire here to push. Leclerc is pitting. This is kind of the problem that Leclerc, though, is going to be facing, is that he's going to come out most likely behind, maybe not, around Tsunoda, and that's going to slow him down a little bit. Leclerc actually came out behind Hamilton. We can hope that Tsunoda and Hamilton now play in our favor by holding up Leclerc. And if they can do the same to Sainz and Verstappen, chef's kiss. It is looking very, very promising for us at the moment. Gasly is going to have to do, some moves. Probably do need to run a little bit of harvest here. So we have enough energy to, do those moves. But right now, we are in a great position. And just imagine how much of a better position we could be in if we didn't waste 6 seconds on the pit stop. We basically, if we didn't do that, we'd already be in the lead. Because we've definitely lost more time than that. Just being stuck behind other cars. And that is, again, Monaco is the worst place. It's easy to overtake this year, let's be honest. We've had overtakes in, we've had an overtake here. We've overtaken into after the tunnel a couple of times. I can't actually remember what that corner is called right now. I'm getting brain freeze. And that is all well and good. But generally, it's just so difficult to overtake that you don't even consider overtaking to be a possibility. That's kind of the situation we have found ourselves in. Sorry that this video is going to be focusing on this race, but right now we have a good opportunity, and I feel like I need to capitalize. Let's go a little bit more aggressive here for Gasly. The goal right now is going to be to try and get not only Russell but also Norris. That would be huge. And as you can see, we are actually chasing down Piastri slightly right now with Ocon. Sainz in the pits. Where is he going to come out? Leclerc is still being held up. We are gaining 2.5 to 2 seconds a lap right now. Why did Russell lose so much time to Norris? What did he do? Oh, is Norris pushing? Is he gonna pit now? Is that what's happening? I don't think so. We basically caught up to him immediately. But yeah, this is basically when we could try and burn down our tires. The problem is just, where do we come out? We need to beat Hamilton. Sainz did actually beat Hamilton. But I think this is actually the moment where we push both cars. We pit. We come out ahead of Sainz. Hopefully. No, we're not going to come out ahead of Sainz. We push and come out ahead of Hamilton. That's gonna be the goal. Sorry, I'm redirecting our strategy. We're gonna push, try and come out ahead of Hamilton, and as long as we do that, we'll be fine. So in terms of time here, you lose about 20 seconds when you pit. We need to gain a couple of seconds for Ocon, minimum. And for Gasly here, he just needs to clear. He just needs to clear Norris, and he should be able to do that now. Very good. And we are just going to push these tires now till they explode. Verstappen is pitting, and with that, Ocon should be able to clear. Piastri here, probably not this lap. Oh, never mind. Ocon is a brave soul. A very brave soul. Hangs it around the... Stays... I don't even know what to say. Ocon is improving right now. Massively in my books. That's what we like to see. Now, unfortunately for us, Verstappen, Sainz, and also Leclerc has been able to breach containment. Hamilton is no longer holding them back. That's not, again, a bad thing. The Hamilton is the one that we're looking to beat this race. He's going to be our goal, Hamilton and Russell. And right now we're on pace to beat that goal at least. But for now, we're just going to allow our cars to push, and we'll see where we stand once we get to that next pit stop of ours in probably 3 laps' time. So we have now pushed the tires to kind of the limit here, and we are going to have to try another double stack unless we want to stay out and take a risk. Now, the current situation is pretty straightforward and simple. Gasly needs to have a very clean stop to beat Hamilton out. He is 22 seconds behind Gasly, so I think as painful as it is, we allow Ocon to push for 1 more lap. Currently, though, as you can see, we're gaining a couple of seconds a lap here on Hamilton, so Gasly should be fine. But I think we pit Gasly this lap and we pit Ocon the next. And it's just so that Gasly doesn't get double screwed by Ocon having a slow pit stop, or, you know, either or having a slow pit stop here. Ocon is going to suffer having to run one more lap on these tires, and currently he did a 15.3 this lap, lost 4 tenths. Probably going to lose a little bit more this time around. Luckily for us, though, Gasly has a clean pit stop. Norris actually also pits and comes out behind Gasly. That's huge. And with Ocon pitting, I would assume Norris is going to come out behind him too. Norris actually loses out to both Mercedes boys. What a happy little accident. And yeah, now Gasly should be able to catch up to the rest here on fresh softs versus mediums versus a hard. Piastri still needs to pit. We might beat the McLarens here. We might have a chance of sniffing at a podium. Clean stop this time around. The pit crew is trying to redeem themselves. But I'll be honest, we'd be running where the Ferraris are right now without the pit stop issues that we initially had. So I don't know if I would say they've redeemed themselves just yet. We're also going to try and get our fuel down a little bit more here just to be on the safe side. Get this down to maybe 2 kilos. We're going to lose a little bit of time doing that. Just the nature of things. And right now we are running quite a bit slower than the top teams here. And that is just how things are, unfortunately. That's on that side. Gonna have Gasly here, run stand a little bit, get some heat into those tires. 14.7 is what we're running here with Gasly. 13.3 with Ocon. So we're already running very comparable tires to the cars I had. And as we take better care on our softs, they should start losing out. And again, Leclerc is in a weird position here. He's going to have to pit very soon. Same for Piastri. We can keep them behind. Huge.
Couple of cars off there.
Please don't safety car me.
So just watch going through there.
Are we safe? Is
The car has stopped.
Albon running? Yeah, we're good.
Just keep watching.
No, we don't have a car stop on track. We're good. So stop lying. Don't get a safety car involved. Did Albon lock? Albon got hit from behind? And then, oh my god. What is the Haas doing? What are you doing, Hulk? First you hit Albon and then you make love to the wall. What are you doing, my guy? Albon got a penalty for that? What, did he brake test him? He got a 10-second penalty. Unfortunately, because of the point of view we had, I don't really exactly know what happened there. So it's basically just two potential situations, if you will, from the way that I look at things. A, Albon brake checked him. B, he didn't leave him enough space. And those are the only two, reasons that I could see for what happened. So I don't know. It's a weird one. We need to get these tires to 85 degrees, hopefully. So we're going a little bit aggressive there. And hopefully we can make something happen right now. Ocon is running with Verstappen. Now, here we have an interesting conundrum. Ocon has now found himself right behind Verstappen, Sainz, and Leclerc, thanks to Piastri. And I would love to overtake Verstappen with this car. So we are going to try and do just that. And again, if we can clear these boys, that would be amazing. If we can't, it is what it is. But Red Bull DRS, I don't see this happening. Yeah, I don't see this happening with such a long train. So I think this is the prime example of stay behind, save your tires, save your everything, and just stick with the potential podium train here if you can. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing here with Ocon. He's just going to stay behind Verstappen. He's going to stay behind Sainz. And if we can, do a little bit of a podium run here, as Piastri could be a bit of a problem right now. I'll be honest. Verstappen is going to get Piastri. I don't know if we can get him as well, but I'm not afraid to try. Piastri actually had DRS though. We need to clear Piastri and stay with the others, because right now Piastri did play a good role in slowing the rest of them down. For just You can't write this. His fault just evolved as we are stuck behind him. Are you joking me? That's actually that is in the realm of insane. And let me guess, Hamilton has also developed mechanical fault. Let me guess, Piastri is not going to pit now. He did actually pit. Good. Don't run into the car with a penalty, please. Okay. Okay, we are back in a acceptable situation. We're probably not going to catch up to the top 3 here. Piastri with pit stop issue 2. Beautiful. Now things are actually looking up our way. Podium is still on the table, but for now, again, the goal is just to manage our tires. If we can catch up to the top 3 here, beautiful. If we can't, it's fine. Leclerc is slowing down Verstappen at the moment. There's no way around that. And honestly, again, we are not going to beat Verstappen on track. We just need to take care of our own tires, take care of our own, fuel issue, energy, and then take advantage of any situation that occurs. We have 2 major mechanical failures running around on the track. 1 minor. There is some good opportunities here for something to happen. And that kick car too right now is a liability because it's holding up all of these cars. Okay. I think we are, again, we're very happy with where we are. I don't think we're going to stay with Verstappen. Let's be honest. There's no way we're able to stay with Verstappen. Bottas, you slow down so many people, and then you slow down us. That is very, very unfortunate. But let's face it, at this point, we're a pit stop ahead of Leclerc. He is going to be pitting again, probably onto a hard tire or even a soft. It's looking very, very good. We could actually go full attack now. Honestly, that might actually be the best idea that we've ever had. Push the tires, go attack, extend the gap, try and stick with Verstappen, stick with Leclerc. Honestly, I need to get past Leclerc right now. He's currently being a bit of a problem. And Leclerc's Monaco problems are classic at this point, so I'm not going to harp on them. But let's face it, the medium runners, they could run till the end here, potentially. And that is a bit of an issue for us. But they could also pit to a soft tire towards the end. 26 laps still remaining. They have 40% viable tire. How much tire are they using right now? How much tire is Verstappen using? Using about 1 to 2% a lap. With 26 laps remaining, if he keeps on losing 1.5%, he's going to end up being very low by the end of this. Low enough that I think an extra pit stop from us is actually going to be killer. So what I think we do now is we're going to push Gasly and we're going to be pushing Ocon. And the main reason why we're doing this is to hopefully beat this man. No way Piastri beats him out. Hopefully beat Leclerc by the time we come out of our final pit stops. That's going to be extremely hard, let's be honest. But it is the play that I've decided to go for here. We'll also have to see, we might end up in a position where we actually need to clear Verstappen. And if we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. But right now, particularly with Leclerc, we are in the driver's seat for a podium. So let's see how things look. We're going to speed things along here, see if we can get to that next pit stop without incident. So the time has come here for us to basically pray. Leclerc is 22.9 behind the leader. We are 2.2. This is going to be a very close and very important pit stop. This is going to be our final stop of the race. 18 laps to go. We have not been able to get behind Verstappen and Sainz, unfortunately. But we've still done a decent enough run here. For Gasly, the goal is just going to be to push for a couple more laps, see if we can extend that gap to Russell, get out ahead of him. But Ocon is now pitting, and this is going to be another very important pit stop. So please don't screw me over. If we get out ahead of Leclerc, that is going to be the best thing ever. If we don't, I'm going to be severely disappointed in my pit crew. 3-second stop. That's not what we needed. We needed a 2.6. Leclerc is coming around the last few corners here. on the main straight now. We are still in the pit. We are still slowed down. That is Norris. Where is Leclerc? Just crossed the finish line. Ocon beats Leclerc out. But he has a better... Yeah, he's going to get... No.
Okay, mate, we are P5.
That is actually unfair for Leclerc. He should have gotten us there. He had a better... He had better pace going up the hill. But that is huge for us. That's one less overtake we need to get done here. We can't run full attack till the end, but we are going to run attack here, heat up the tires. And again, for Gasly, he just needs to create a gap big enough that he doesn't lose time to Russell, basically. Now, Norris is going to be the car to beat here for the podium. That is just how things are going to be. We are going to run light. We're going to have to see what we do here with Leclerc, though, because we still need to deal with him. It could be another scenario of me needing to manually control this straight, which I'm very bad at. But it could just be what we're going to have to do. And for Gasly here now, we are going to go ahead and get him into the pits as well. But yeah, for Ocon, surviving against Leclerc is going to be key. If we can't, we're going to get in trouble. On this first straight, it looks fine. Leclerc is not sailing up towards us, but we are using energy. And the question is, can Ocon hold out while catching Norris? I think the answer to that is going to be yes. The question then is, can we clear Norris and have Norris hold up Leclerc? Maybe. So this is still looking very, very interesting so far. Now, Gasly is also going to have a pit stop. We're going to take a look at that before we allow things to kind of proceed. No. Albon, what have you done? Crashed on your own on turn 1, but you are still running. So that should not be a safety car. That's a new one, honestly. I've never seen someone tag the wall on the way into the corner. Did he crash twice? Tag the wall and then what? Okay, it's just a different angle. Okay, that's no safety car. Important. Russell is the car to beat here. We should be fine. The stop is already done. We are heading out to the line here. We're not going to get Leclerc, unfortunately, with that stop. And honestly, well, we could slow Ocon down to make that happen. I just don't think that that is a viable strategy here, I'll be honest. For Ocon, we are going to deploy a little bit of energy here because I feel like Leclerc is uncomfortably close. And we also still need to save energy, or rather fuel. And we're not saving it as quick as I'd hope. So with 15 laps to go here, we should be fine, but I just want to have a look here. Actually, it doesn't tell us how much we're saving. It tells us how much we're using. So we're using about 0.9 a lap. We should be fine. Just barely fine. Ocon with the RS is going to be safe, and then we kind of try and launch the attack next lap. But yeah, fuel-wise, maybe I've been a little bit too aggressive in taking positions with the use of fuel, I'll be honest. But now, though, we are going to go back to Ocon, and clearing Norris is going to be huge. The question then is just, can we catch up to the cars in front? And they are very quick, so I think the answer to that is going to be no. But who knows here? We have an opportunity. We're going to try and make the most out of it. And we'll also have to see if Gasly is quick enough to actually catch both Leclerc and Norris. I think the answer to that is going to be no, unfortunately. But you never know. I think we sit behind for this lap and we try again on next DRS zone. Use a little bit of tire to catch up, because again, Norris is the one that we're going to be fighting. 15 laps to go, though. I'm worried for the AI's tires. I'll be honest. I'm worried for their tires. Norris, though, is actually pulling away massively here because we're worried about our fuel. Mechanical fall for Verstappen. Might just need fuel here, really, to get the overtake done. McLaren is just that much quicker than us. Let's go full attack for a lap or two. And I'm going to push fuel on the straight here this time around. This is going to be our last chance to get this overtake done. I'll be perfectly honest. Let's see if we can do it this time. With all of our tools at our disposal. This time we get it done, but we used again a lot of resources to get that done. Look at our time when compared to Ghastly. We've done a lap more, or rather a couple laps more, but even then, that's not a good place to be. And right now we're also losing time to a kick car. That is going to hold Norris up, I think. A little bit through the corner, but that is enough that we could actually break free from him. And Verstappen with a 17.1 last lap. What kind of damage does he have? This is ERS. See, 15.9, that's more like it. But that could be us snatching a second place out of the blue. Gasly also is doing well, 13 blank. 12.8 there from Ocon. Pushing is definitely paying off. But yeah, we're going to need to try and cool down those tires, save a little bit towards the end here. We're still catching Verstappen though, massively. This isn't over yet, so let's see what we can do here. Next up is going to be Leclerc and Norris for Gasly. And honestly, he has such a huge tire advantage at this point that he should be able to clear both of them. The question is just going to be how many resources does it need to get it done? And honestly, we're going to wait one lap here because Leclerc is a lot faster than Norris at the moment. So as long as we allow Leclerc to do most of the job for us by breaking DRS, I think we should be able to clear Norris really, really easily. I'm sorry that this has basically been a Monaco focused video, but this is one of those big chances that we have to score points. So I kind of want to put in a little bit of effort there, as like Gasly just sends it past down the inside. I want to see that again from a different angle. You gave me the same angle, game.
The opportunity's there.
Well, chicane. I love that though. The fact that there's so many aggressive overtakes in that corner. This is more than we could hope for. Again, the game told us expect 11th, expect 12th. Currently looking at our first podium. Yeah, Gasly is getting into position now where we can potentially launch an attack. I still think we'll have one more lap just chilling behind. And at this pace, we are going to get Verstappen. We could also even get Sainz by the end of this. Verstappen is pushing a little bit more now, but we gained 2 seconds on Sainz. We gained a second on Verstappen. 8 laps. How much do we actually lose when we go full attack? I think if we wait 2 more laps here. Again, we're gaining a second a lap. We are not in any, we're not in any rush to push here. But at this point, we might be able to snatch, not a 1-2, but a double podium. Well, no, a win in a 4th place is more like it. A little bit too far back there when you launch that one. Are we going to have another insane overtake here? Not really. Let's go back to neutral. We'll just stick with him. And yeah, Ocon is still reeling them in. Sainz is slowing them down. A little bit of fuel push here. We have gotten our fuel back into the positives. I was worried for a second that we might have used a little bit too much. Just experimenting, but we are definitely good on fuel right now. Unfortunately, Leclerc is getting DRS here from the back marker. And we just slot in behind him like a silly goose, really. We have enough fuel here that we might be able to launch an attack towards the end of this lap. But we're definitely losing out on the podium now if we don't clear Leclerc on this attempt. This is basically our final chance of clearing Leclerc before we lose any chance for Gasly getting a podium. And again, there's a back market giving Leclerc most likely... The back market protection squad here is kind of insane for Leclerc. But we might be close enough here that we can still get a move done. No, we're not. That is insane from Leclerc that he had so much protection from just straight up back markers. I think though with 5 laps to go, this is when we start making moves. Go full attack. I think this is an acceptable time to start pushing. And in Ocon's case, I should have actually recharged him while he was hunting. But he has now caught up to the Red Bull and also to Sainz. So I think what we do here is we do one more lap where we kind of take care of our stuff. And then we're going to have to try and clear these cars. They are also getting very low on their tire wear, 35%. Which means they're going to start suffering quite a bit. Gasly here should have enough tire to make it till the end, I think. And maybe even catch up to these two. That's going to be huge. We're also saving a lot of energy here. We're actually not deploying at all. So that is amazing. I don't think I want to do that for Gasly though until he gets within DRS. And I think this is when we start making some pushes. Use the fuel that we've saved up. Use our tires that we saved. And this is when the fun begins. Also, let me know what you think about the maximum... we've done a lot of race watching this episode. Let me know what you think about the maximum graphics mod. Was it a good addition? Do you see any difference? Okay, Ocon. This is your moment. Looks like Verstappen tanked the barrier there. Gasly is also within DRS at the moment. There is a chance of a Alpine 1-2 in Monaco. And the more pressure we put on them to use more of their tires, the better our odds get.
Okay, Gasly has DRS.
We have better tires, we have better fuel, we have better everything at this point, I'd say. But Red Bull has the better car. Can we put enough pressure that he falls out of DRS is going to be the question to ask here.
Gap 0.2. Come on, let's focus.
For Gasly, we should be able to run light, slow him down, cool the tires a little bit before we start launching other attacks. Because I don't want Gasly to, you know, challenge his teammate at the moment. That's not what we need. Come on. Full send it. Down the inside. Go for it. Okay, you did kind of eat the barrier there a little bit. But you did bully your way past Verstappen. That is a hero move right there. Sainz is getting, again, back market protection. Come on, Haas. Just get out of the way. Oh, that is... Again, Monaco with the back market defense is kind of bullshit, honestly. Thing now is we only have one more chance to get the overtake done for Ocon. Second to last lap here. We also only have one chance really to get Gasly to do anything. So I honestly think what we do here is we send it into final chicane. Because we still have back markers ahead of us. We have the kick, that's one. But we also have a Williams. And we actually have a Mercedes. Come on, Ocon. In the lead. Gasly on the podium. Go on, Ocon. Push, push. Push, push. Get outside of DRS. Give Gasly a shot here of getting Sainz. Come on.
DRS disabled. DRS disabled.
This is hype. Ah, the back marker. No, come on. That's so frustrating. Basically, this means Gasly has one more chance right now. Sainz has hit that magical 30% limit, though. And we also do need to make sure that we actually make it till the end of the race. If we ran out of fuel before the finish line, that would be double embarrassing at this point. Go on, Gasly. This is your final opportunity. Enter the Neuville chicane. Full send.
Gap to Sainz ahead, 0.5.
A little bit too far back, I think. Gonna have to turn this balance now.
If we can increase lift and coast.
Yeah, the backmark, treatment when you're trying to overtake definitely needs a little bit of a look at, I think. It's a shame. It is a shame for Gasly, but it's still an acceptable result, let's be honest. Unless we can pull something magical out of the hat right here. Look at the speed that Sainz got there. He didn't even have DRS. Ocon wins. Didn't think I'd say this early. Gasly comes third.
Good job, guys. Good job, everybody around.
I think we can be happy with this.
And Ocon takes the win.
You can't say they didn't earn it. They put in an amazing performance today.
I agree. You can't say we didn't earn it. I did play basically Monaco here for 50 minutes, and I'm sorry about that.
Okay, that's the checkered flag.
Someone will be cut off out, of course, but basically just Monaco here. We'll take that, though. That is huge for us.
Incredible example.
7th and 9th for the Mercedes, meaning that they didn't really
Good driving now.
benefit much either.
So once you've stopped.
And for once, we're actually going to watch the podium celebrations here. I usually don't.
It was a truly excellent win, with everything working together for the team and driver.
That makes it all worth it, doesn't it? Seeing your team ready to share the celebrations. There's the Frenchman, Esteban Ocon, taking to the podium. And another added to his career tally.
There's further delight for the team as they get to see both drivers up there together.
Always a special occasion here in the incomparable Monte Carlo. They'll be pushing the boat out here tonight, no doubt.
We're borrowing Kimi's yacht for this one. Yeah, I think that is gonna be, unfortunately, it for this episode. I would have loved to have done more races than this, but this was a great chance where we could kind of deal with a lot of race management, really, in some ways. So I think it's fine to end it on this one. And honestly, I think it's fine that we put as much effort into this one because, again, race management, you get an idea of how to sit behind, get an advantage, things like that. If you have any questions, as usual, feel free to ask them. With this, Ocon moves up to 7th. Gasly gets pushed down to 9th, but let's face it, he does a double overtake, so that's fine. And we are now decisively ahead of Mercedes by scoring 40 points at this race weekend. I think we'll take that. That is amazingly well done. And of course, we did start this off with that double mess up from the pit crew, where honestly, Gasly would have gotten 2nd place and all of that. But also, if I pushed him a little bit earlier, I could have also got that done. I am playing the tires a little bit more on the safe side this series because it's so punishing if you start pushing too early. It's almost more punishing to push too early and lose, a potential win than if I start pushing a little bit late. And honestly, both of them are punishing, but I see my careful strategy as a little bit less mentally painful, if you will. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. We got a win and a podium. Can be very, very happy with that. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, as that helps me out a ton. So yeah, thank you again. Bye-bye.